Hi, fourth and fifth grade families.
Hi.
Welcome back to school. My name's Mrs. Teresa Kirby. I'm going to be the fifth grade homeroom teacher.
And I'm Mrs. Leah Padilla, the fourth grade teacher.
Okay. This year I am going to be the fifth grade homeroom teacher, and I'm also going to be teaching fourth and fifth grade language arts, religion, and social studies.
And I will be the fourth grade homeroom teacher. I'll teach both fourth and fifth grade math, science, health, and reading.
So for language arts this year, fifth grade, we will be working on handwriting, spelling, grammar, and writing. When we do handwriting, we're going to be looking at the style or the manuscript and mainly cursive. We're going to look at paper and pencil position. We're going to review letter strokes, legibility, and we're going to be mainly doing the Zahner-Bloser workbooks. In spelling, we're going to be focusing on spelling patterns and generalizations. We're going to be getting our word lists from the Into Reading workbook or the reading textbook, and then we'll be doing different activities to practice. In grammar, we're going to be understanding the parts of speech. We're going to be using regular and irregular words and tenses. We're going to work on subject, verb, and pronoun antecedent agreement. We're going to be working with adjectives and adverbs and different conjunctions. We're going to talk about the different types of sentences, and we're going to use punctuation properly. We're going to mainly be using the Simple Solutions workbook for this. For writing, there are 4 different types of styles: personal narrative, informational text, opinion essay, and persuasive essay. So we're going to be focusing on different types of writing throughout the school year and being able to write a few paragraphs. For social studies, the different parts are history, geography, government, economics, current events, and national holidays and remembrance days. For fourth grade, we're going to be looking at, for skills, map scale, timelines, and secondary sources. History will be focusing on Ohio for the fourth grade. So we're going to do geography and regions. We're going to talk about the early American history and how it relates to Ohio. We're going to talk about all the location of all the different 50 states in geography. And for government, we're going to focus on the 3 branches of government, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. In economics, we'll look at entrepreneurship and financial well-being, and we're going to talk about important dates in history. For fifth grade, we're going to look at the different types of history with BCE and CE, early Indian civilizations, European exploration and colonization. We're going to look at geography, the themes. We're going to talk about longitude and latitude, regions in the Western Hemisphere. In government, we're going to look at systems of government and being an informed citizen. In economics, we're going to look at choices and consequences, availability of product resources, and talking about different careers. And of course, we're going to focus on different important dates in history as well. For religion, in fourth grade, we're going to look at the sacred scripture. We're going to go in depth with the Beatitudes and each of the 10 commandments. We're going to look at the different sacraments, seasons of the church, and prayer. We're going to look at the community of the church and talk about the Eucharist. And we're going to look at, for service, baptism, mission and ministry, and our conscience. In fifth grade, we're going to be studying the sacraments, scripture and Christian living, the basics of the Bible, and all the parts of a Mass. In fifth grade, there will be an ACRE test in the spring.
Hi. So in math, fourth and fifth grade, the content standards for Ohio are operations and algebraic thinking, number operations in base 10, measurement and data, number and operations with fractions, and then geometry. There's also mathematical practices that we'll be working on, and those are making sense and persevering in solving problems, reasoning abstractly and quantitatively, and constructing viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others, model with mathematics, use appropriate tools strategically, attend to precision, look for and make use of structure, and look for and express regularity, and repeated reasoning. So specifically in fourth grade, the standards that we cover are use the 4 operations to solve problems: factors and multiples, fraction equivalence and ordering, decimal notation of fractions, measurement conversions, interpreting data, angles and measure angles, line angles, and 2-dimensional figures, and symmetry. Something that we learn too is also that long division. They should have mastered by the end of this grade. And the way that in 5th grade math, it will be numerical expressions, operations, and multi-digit whole numbers with decimals, fractions using the 4 operations, convert like measurement, represent data in graphs, pictographs, bar graphs, and line graphs. We'll graph points on the coordinate plane and classify 2-dimensional figures. And the way that we learn in math is usually an I do, then we do, and then they do alone. But then we also do come up to the board a lot, and I'll have children kind of express to the other kids what they're doing in talking out problems. I think that works a lot, and that's called math talk. We use a lot of, in 4th grade, we'll use protractors to measure angles and then also draw them. And in 5th grade, it's kind of extended in triangles. So in reading 4th and 5th grade, the content standards are literature, informational text, reading foundations, speaking, and listening. And the standards in 4th grade that we'll be covering is we're going to refer to details and examples in text. They'll be able to do that when explaining what the text says explicitly and drawing inferences from text. They'll be able to determine the theme of a story, drama, or poem from the details, summarize text using details, and then be able to describe a character in depth, the setting or event in a story or drama. They'll determine the meaning of words and phrases as they're used in text, including those that allude the significant character and mythology. They'll also explain major differences between poems, drama, and prose, and refer to structural elements of poems, such as verse, rhyme, and meter, and drama. They'll explain the differences in the points of view in a text and different perspectives of characters. They'll make connections between the text of a story or drama and a visual or oral presentation of the text. So they'll be doing that. That's part of speaking and listening. Compare and contrast the treatment of similar themes and topics. And both Mrs. Kirby and I will be working together when it comes to writing and this reading part, the compare and contrast. In 5th grade, we'll quote accurately from text when explaining what the text says, determine the theme of a story, drama, or poem, summarize the text, analyze how visual multimedia elements contribute to the meaning, tone, and beauty of text, and compare and contrast stories of the same genre. So although they're comparing and contrasting in 4th grade, it changes to see, they'll be reading 2 different articles and comparing and contrasting, even though they're talking about the same thing, how they're different within each other. Compare and contrast 2 or more characters and settings or events. Determine the meaning of words and phrases, including figurative language, metaphors, similes, and idioms. And then explain how a series of chapters, scenes, or stanzas fits together to provide the overall structure of a drama or poem, and describe how a narrator or speaker's point of view and perspective influence how events are described. And then for science, 4th and 5th grade, the content standards are earth and space science, physical science, and life sciences. In 4th grade, we will study the Earth's surface, electricity, heat, and matter, and Earth's living history. And in each one of those, there'll be a cumulative project for each, along with a paper and pencil test. And in 5th grade, it's cycles and patterns in the solar system, light, sound, and motion, interactions within ecosystems. And again, we'll have a cumulative ending project for each of those 3, and also a paper and pencil test. In health, we'll be covering health promotions and disease prevention, influence of factors on healthy behaviors, valid information products and services, interpersonal communication skills, goal setting, decision making, nutrition, and social emotional health. And then we'll be, both 4th and 5th grade will be collaborating and doing the same thing with communication and such. Did you do this first one?
Sure. Well, you can contact us through email, phone calls, the Remind app on your phone. We'll be sending out weekly grade level newsletters. And then, of course, the take-home folder will include returned papers and any notes.
And then you can sign up for Remind by typing in these codes. We will also be sending home a step-by-step on how to sign up for Remind. Okay. Students must wear their PE uniforms to school on the day they have gym. 4th and 5th grade both have gym on Tuesday this year. And then there'll be no snacks in the classroom this year again. The homework will vary by class and by the week. You will be able to check progress book. We'll both post our homework there for you. Math and reading will have nightly practice. Spelling and vocabulary will be on an alternating schedule. So we'll begin with vocabulary for the first 5-day week of school. Then we'll switch to spelling and keep rotating throughout the school year in that fashion. And then our grading system follows the DIASN, which is, you can see it here. It is different than the public school. It's a little bit more demanding. This year, we're going to give the opportunity for students to correct any and all tests. If they correct the tests, they will be given up to half credit for the corrected answer. So if one question was worth 1 point, they would receive a half point if it was corrected with the correct answer. If a question was worth 2 points, they could receive up to 1 point. For tests that are taken home to correct, students will be given 2 days to complete it and return it to school in order to receive the extra points. And they can do this whether they miss one question or 10 questions, no matter how many or what the grade level was on the test. So late and incomplete work, it's the same across the board with 4th and 5th. I know that last year it was a little bit different between 4th and 5th, but we're going to stay consistent. So the first day will be a grace day. After it's 2 days late, we're going to take 10% off that assignment. If it's 3 or more days late, an additional point will be taking off that 10%. So an example would be that a student turns in a 25-point assignment and it's 4 days late. The first day would be a grace day. They wouldn't receive any points off. The second day would be 10% off whatever grade they got. So that would be 2.5 points. The third day would be another point. The fourth day, another point. So the total points off in this example would be 4.5 points. Okay, so for behavior, we're going to go along with the Viking Code. If students do not follow the Viking Code and are repeatedly not doing it, they will be required to complete a reflection sheet. 3 reflection sheets in a quarter will result in a Christian conduct violation. 3 Viking violations in a quarter will result in a detention to take place the following Tuesday after school between 2:25 p.m. and 3:15 p.m. And I think that's it. We're looking forward to serving your children and serving you. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we look forward to having a wonderful school year. Good job.